Somebody tried to warn them about you. That's the part you don't know yet. While you were just living your life, minding your business, somebody who actually pays attention pulled them aside and said it plainly. You don't understand who you're dealing with anymore. You need to stop. Back off. Leave that one alone. And you know what your enemies did with that warning? They laughed. They actually laughed. Because in their head, you're still the person you were 3 years ago. They never got the update. They have no idea what the silence was for. Let me tell you who gave the warning, because that part matters. It wasn't a friend of yours. You don't have a spy in their camp. It was somebody on their own side. Somebody who's known people like you before and recognized the signs. Somebody who watched the way you went quiet and understood that quiet, like that isn't surrender, it's construction. They've seen what happens when a person stops reacting and starts building, and they know how that story tends to end. So they said something. Quietly, the way people warn each other about weather that hasn't arrived yet but is definitely coming. And here's the thing about a warning like that. The person giving it isn't trying to scare anybody. They're trying to save them. They're looking at your enemies the way you look at a friend who's about to text their ex at 2 a.m. Don't. You're going to regret this. And just like that friend, your enemies smiled, nodded, and did the exact opposite. Think about what it takes for that warning to even get said. The person saying it has nothing to gain. They're not your ally. They don't owe you anything. They just looked at the situation with clear eyes, saw where it was heading, and felt the need to speak up against their own group's mood. That's rare. People don't usually break from the consensus to warn the confident ones that they're wrong. It happens when the thing they're seeing is obvious enough that staying quiet feels worse than the awkwardness of saying it, which tells you something about how visible your change has become to anyone who isn't personally invested in not seeing it. Because arrogance has a really specific blind spot. It can't update. It locked in its opinion of you a long time ago, filed you underhandled, and stopped checking. To them, you're a closed case. A person they already figured out, already beat, already moved past. And the idea that you could have become something they'd need to be warned about, that doesn't fit the story they tell themselves. So they threw the warning out, didn't even keep it as a maybe. That's the mistake right there. Not what they did to you back then. This, the refusing to look. Let me paint you what actually happened in that moment, because I've watched this exact scene play out more than once. The warning gets delivered. There's a pause. And then somebody in the group does the little laugh, the dismissive one, and says something like, "Them? Please. We know exactly what they are." And everybody relaxes. Everybody agrees. The warning gets absorbed back into the same old story where you're small and they're safe. And the person who gave the warning just goes quiet, shrugs, files it away. Because you can't make somebody see a thing they've decided not to see. And you, meanwhile, have no idea any of this happened. You're not in the room. You're somewhere else entirely, doing the work, the unglamorous daily work of becoming someone new. You didn't plant the warning. You didn't ask anybody to advocate for you. It happened on its own, the way reputations do once they reach a certain density. Other people start to notice before your enemies do. The ones with their egos on the line are always the last to know. Here's what they don't understand about who you are now. 3 years ago, you reacted. You explained yourself. You showed your cards because you still believed that if they just understood, they'd treat you right. You were readable, predictable, a person they could push in a known direction and get a known result. That's the version they're still planning around. That's the model they're still running in their heads. But that person is gone. You killed that person off quietly, somewhere in the middle of everything, and you didn't hold a funeral. What replaced them doesn't react the same way, doesn't explain, doesn't telegraph. You learned the single most disorienting skill a person can learn, which is how to feel something fully and show nothing. And to somebody trying to read you, trying to predict you, trying to find the lever that moves you, that's terrifying, because there isn't one anymore, and nobody saw it happen. That's what they can't account for. The rebuild didn't have an audience. There was no announcement, no big speech, no moment where you declared you were changing. It happened in the parts of your life nobody was watching. The early mornings, the conversations you had with yourself, the 100 small times you chose not to react when reacting would have felt good. None of it was visible. None of it was loud. And because they couldn't see it happening, they assumed it wasn't happening at all. They mistook quiet for nothing. That's the oldest mistake there is. So when the warning came and they laughed, they weren't laughing at the real you. They were laughing at a ghost, a memory, a person who doesn't exist outside their outdated little file. Now watch what happens, because this is the part that's already in motion. They're going to keep treating you like the old version. That's guaranteed. They're going to make a move based on who you used to be, expecting the old reaction, the old scramble, the old need to set the record straight. And it's not going to come. You're going to do nothing. Or worse, for them you're going to do something small and precise and completely unbothered. And that gap, that space between the reaction they expected and the stillness they got, that's where the panic starts. Because nothing scares a person who relies on predicting you like a moment they didn't predict. The first time their move lands and you don't flinch, something cold goes down their spine. They run it back. They tell themselves it's nothing. They try again, harder. And you're still standing there, calm, unreadable, living your life. And slowly, it dawns on them that the warning they laughed at might have been describing something real, that they walked confidently into a situation they completely misjudged, that they're holding a map of a place that doesn't exist anymore. And the worst part for them is they can't even ask anybody. Think about that. They laughed at the warning in front of everyone. They made their position loud and clear. So now, when the doubt starts creeping in, they can't go back out to the person who warned them and say, "What did you mean?" They'd have to admit they were wrong out loud to the one person who saw it coming. Pride won't let them, so they sit with it alone. They carry the suspicion privately, turning it over at night while keeping up the confident act during the day. That's an exhausting way to live, and they signed up for it the second they chose the laugh over the listen. And by the time they understand that, it's the kind of too late that doesn't have a fix. Let me be honest with you about something, though, because the cheap version of this video would just feed you revenge, and you're past that. You're going to be tempted to enjoy this from the front row, to watch closely, to wait for the exact moment it clicks for them, so you can be there for it. Don't organize your life around that. The whole reason you became someone worth warning people about is that you stopped performing for them. You stopped living in their reaction. The second you start hovering, waiting for them to realize they were wrong, you've handed the leash back. You're theirs again. The power was never in watching them lose. It was in being so far gone you forgot to check. And here's the second thing, the harder one. You don't owe them the warning either.